Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. I'm your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about a sequel that I'm pretty excited for. I've been looking forward to this movie ever since I heard it was coming out. It's a sequel to one of my favorite movies from the last few years, Sicario, and Sicario de Soldado, which some of the filmmakers are calling a spin-off. It's a sequel spin-off to that movie. And it's starring Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, who return as their characters from the first film. When terrorists are smuggled across the border of Mexico by the Mexican drug cartels, some in the U.S. government take it upon themselves to strike back. They call upon Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin, to start a war between the cartels to attempt to destroy them from the inside. I have to say that I love Taylor Sheridan's writing. And I, again, love the first movie, and honestly, I've really liked and/or loved all the movies based on his writings. You're looking at Hell or High Water and Wind River and the first Sicario as examples. But Sicario was one that I had to watch a couple of times to for the movie to really have the effect on me that it was going for that effect to really sink in. I feel the same might be said for the sequel as well. I have a feeling I'm going to need to go see it again, even though I will say this, I really like this movie. Now, I'm not saying that, again, I didn't like this movie or anything, far from it. I really enjoyed it. I guess the biggest issue that I had is that, in a way, De Soldado felt like a setup movie for another sequel that may or may not even come. I won't spoil anything, but there is a bit of sequel bait at the end of this movie. I also felt like this movie started telling one story, then switched to another one, leaving the first story to be resolved at a later date. That being said, I'm fine with where the story is going because I like what they've done with the characters that return for the sequel. We will talk about the missing Emily Blunt in a bit. I just think that the shift in the story might throw or even put some people off with this movie. Some might feel like the story is incomplete, I guess would be the right word, especially if another one doesn't happen. Again, like the first movie, I'll probably be checking this one out again to feel the full weight of the story being told. I think what was really effective about the first movie is while you could see these characters returning, they didn't really sequel bait you. I guess you might be able to call the last scene of that movie sequel bait, but it wasn't. There was no indication there was going to be another movie. It was just the ending was saying, this is how it is. Where the ending to this one is definitely, especially where the story is left off at the end, you could definitely tell it was sequel baiting. So that, I'm not going to call it a weakness of this movie, but it definitely, I kind of wish they would have not had that. Maybe added that to another movie instead of using it to sequel bait a third one. As I mentioned in the setup, the story begins with some in the U.S. government trying to start a war between the Mexican drug cartels. One of their plans is to kidnap the daughter of one of the big cartel leaders and blame it on another cartel, and that would start fighting between them. Things begin to go south after Graver's team is seemingly ambushed by some of their Mexican allies. This leads to the daughter, Isabel Reyes, played by Isabella Moner, running away from the ambush, and it's up to the returning Sicario Alejandro, played by Benicio del Toro, to track her down. The movie also follows a young man getting into the cartel smuggling game with his cousin. I think it was anyway. It wasn't his brother. It was a relative, and I'm pretty sure it was his cousin. For a while, you'll wonder where the story is going, but the whole time you know that it and the main story will cross paths somehow, being it takes a little while to get there, but it eventually happens and it works really well. The returning characters that are back are still great, for the most part anyway. Josh Brolin's Matt Graver is as cold and calculating as ever. When his first scene involves an interrogation in which he says something along the lines of, "We only waterboard those that we can't torture," he's going to be brutal. Benicio del Toro gets to somewhat continue his story as the grieving father turned assassin Alejandro. I say somewhat because his continued revenge gets a little put on hold plot-wise in this one. I was honestly kind of surprised that they were continuing that story because he killed the man that killed his family and killed the guy's family in the first movie. But now that pound of flesh, I guess, wasn't enough because now he wants those that ordered it. And so, hey, he's still got his revenge plot going on. I'm all good with that. In a way, it's a bit jarring that this story is put on hold. But if him not getting his pound of flesh in this movie means that I get another movie with this character, I'm all for it. While he doesn't get to do a ton action-wise in this movie, and don't worry, he still gets to get in on the action, the scenes we spend with him in this one are centered more around developing his character and showing his character's overall resolve. And sorry, I'm not going to spoil that one for you. Isabella Moner as the daughter of the big cartel leader is probably the breakout role of the movie. Her character is not your... You see these characters in movies, and normally they're spoiled or they're stupid to what's going on around them. But her character is not a spoiled rich girl or a kid that doesn't know that her daddy's the bad guy. She knows who her father is and what he does, and in a scene or two, it really shows. Moner has to show a wide range of emotions in this and pulls them off beautifully. She shares some scenes with Del Toro that require some pretty good acting, and she destroys any expectations. If you had high expectations, she's above them. You had low expectations, she's definitely above them. There are times that a really good movie can be derailed by a child actor that is in way over their head, and in the case of Moner in this one, that is not the case here. For those wondering about Emily Blunt's character, Kate Macer, she is not even mentioned in this movie. Now, while I could see her character getting involved in another movie, she would not have really fit into this one. And the simple reason, the FBI isn't involved in this movie. I like that the movies written by Taylor Sheridan are grounded in a bit of reality and have simple reasons to explain why certain things aren't forced into the story. Unless the FBI was involved in the story, you weren't going to have Kate Macer forced into this story. Again, I'm sure we haven't seen the last of her character, if this movie gets another movie, that is. But as for this one, it didn't involve the FBI, so she didn't need to be in it, and she didn't need to be forced into it. She definitely would have felt like her part was crammed in if she was in this movie. I had a feeling maybe they would show her at the very end or something, but no. There is no Emily Blunt's Kate Macer in this one. As for the action in this, it is what you want and expect from the sequel of the movie that had some of the most intense action scenes ever that I've ever seen anyway. Like the first movie, they are brutally violent and are built up to perfectly. While there is some bigger shootouts in this, the scenes that really work for me are the ones that are the more on the simple side, such as not gonna say it. Almost let a big one slip there. While I was a bit put off at first about the shift in story, I feel that in the end, the overall story of Sicario is playing the long game. Like the first movie, I like that not everybody in this one gets to be happy in the end. Not everybody gets to accomplish the goals that they set out to accomplish in the beginning. This one doesn't rely on the happy Hollywood ending to tell a compelling chapter in what hopefully will get to be a longer story. Now, did I like this one more than the first movie? As a standalone movie, probably not. The first one is definitely superior. But do I really want more from these characters? Do I want to see the Sicario finally get to lay waste to the ones that have wronged him? Do I want to see Josh Brolin's character come back? Do I want to see Emily Blunt's character come back? Do I want to see Isabella Moner's character come back? That would be a big yes to that one. I would love to see Sicario go on. I would love to see Sicario. Granted, I wouldn't want to see it with a different cast, but I would love to see this as a longer series, like a Netflix series or something. I know a lot of people will throw the Narco thing out there. I have not seen Narco. I want these characters. I'm not saying Narco's bad because I haven't seen it, but I want to see these characters in a ton of different stories. So I at least want to see this one continue for a while. Maybe they'll go 3, maybe they'll go 5, maybe they won't get another one. I don't know. That being said, I want to see more of these. Well, that's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you like what you've heard here, please comment on the video, hit like, dislike, whatever you feel about it, and subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds. See you later.